Good evening, and welcome back to Brickonomics. I'm David Hayes. What we once learned in economics textbooks about supply, demand, and rational choices no longer accurately describes the world we live in. The core of economics, as we experience it daily, is not an abstract theory. It is a very real crisis. It's the personal crisis you feel standing in the supermarket. You want 3 items, but your budget only allows for 1. That feeling of tension, that forced choice, that is the entire engine of the global economy, scaled up to a level that is now fracturing the system itself. You think you have unlimited wants but limited money? Imagine you are a country that also has unlimited wants for military defense, for healthcare, for education, but a finite supply of resources. Tonight, we will discuss why the simple study of choice has become a global battlefield. The decisions are no longer about wants, they are about survival, and the fundamental laws of economics are being weaponized. The core of economics isn't a textbook theory, it's a crisis. It's the personal crisis you feel when you stand in the grocery store, wanting 3 items but knowing your budget only allows for 1. That feeling, that tension, is the entire engine of the global economy, scaled up to a level that is now breaking the system. You think you have unlimited wants but limited money? Imagine you are a country that has unlimited wants for military defense, for healthcare, for education, but a limited supply of resources. The simple academic study of choices has now become a global battlefield. The decisions being made today are not about wants. They are about survival, and the fundamental laws of economics are being weaponized. We need to start with the most misunderstood concept of all. Chapter 1. Scarcity is not a bug, it's the battlefield. The textbooks will tell you scarcity is just a simple fact. Limited resources to meet unlimited wants. This is dangerously naive. In the 2025 economy, scarcity is a strategy. It's not just that there isn't enough, it's that resources are being intentionally constrained. You have scarcity of natural resources, yes, but this is being amplified by geopolitics. You have supply chain choke points, you have sanctions, you have nations hoarding critical minerals. That's not natural scarcity, that is economic warfare. And then you have the resources themselves, what economists call the factors of production. Chapter 2. The factors of production are now contested assets. Economics 101 gives you 3 neat categories: land, labor, and capital. Let's look at what those mean in the real world right now. First, labor dog. This isn't just workers. This is a demographic crisis. The West and China are facing a demographic collapse, a shrinking workforce that can't support its aging population. This creates systemic, permanent wage inflation. Simultaneously, we have a global skills gap. We have the workers, but not for the jobs we need, not for chip fabrication, not for cyber defense, not for advanced logistics. Second, capital. This used to mean money, machines, and buildings. Today, capital is distorted. For 15 years, the Fed, the ECB, and the BOJ flooded the world with cheap money, quantitative easing that broke the price of capital itself. It funded an entire generation of zombie companies that produce nothing of value. Now, interest rates are high, and that capital is fleeing, causing a credit crisis that is strangling productive businesses. And third, land. This isn't just soil, this is resource control. It's the lithium triangle. It's the rare earth minerals China dominates. It's the grain in Ukraine. It's the water rights for semiconductor plants. Nations are no longer competing for goods. They are competing for the inputs that make the goods. This resource war forces every nation and every company to answer 3 questions, and their answers are now changing the world order. Chapter 3: Deconstructing the 3 economic questions. The textbook asks what to produce, how to produce it, and for whom to produce it. These are no longer simple business questions, they are national security mandates. What should be produced? Is it more consumer gadgets, or is it artillery shells? We are seeing a massive global pivot from producing wants, like another streaming service, to producing needs, like energy infrastructure, domestic microchip foundries, and military hardware. This is the guns versus butter debate, and guns are winning. How will it be produced? For 30 years, the answer was cheaply in China. That answer is now dead. The new answer is securely, with friendshoring. How is no longer about efficiency, it's about resilience. This shift is massively inflationary. It is inefficient by design to protect against geopolitical risk. And who will use it? The for whom question. The era of globalization, producing for a single global market, is over. We are in an era of protectionism and fragmentation. You produce for your domestic market first, you produce for your allies second, and your rivals? You actively deny them your products. This is the blueprint of the new CCP 5-year plan. This is the US CHIPS Act. This is the EU's carbon border tax. This brings us to the highest level, the macro dilemma that every government is facing and failing to solve. Chapter 4: The Great National Trade-Off. The textbook gives a quaint example. A country has to choose between expanding its military, securing healthcare, or funding education. In the 21st century, this isn't a choice, it's a trap. Thanks to rising geopolitical conflict, global defense spending has hit all-time highs, shattering $2 trillion. NATO members are scrambling to meet their 2% GDP commitments. This is not optional. It is a forced response to a new axis of instability. But this money doesn't come from nowhere. It is a limited resource. Every dollar spent on a missile is a dollar not spent on a hospital, a school, or a bridge. At the exact same time, aging populations demand more healthcare spending. And climate change demands trillions in green energy investment. The wants are unlimited. The resources funded by your taxes and national debt are finite. This is the core of scarcity, and it means hard, brutal decisions must be made. This is why your taxes are going up while your services are getting worse. And finally, this brings us back to you, in the store, watching prices. Final chapter: the market signal failure. The video you watched ends with a simple observation. Hey, look, more options. And these are on sale. Must have something to do with the demand.
Hey, look, more
That
options,
is the most
and
chilling
these are on
observation
sale.
of all. A sale, a price
Must
change,
have something to do.
is supposed to be a signal. It's how the market communicates. For the past decade, central banks have destroyed this signal. When the Fed held interest rates at 0, was that a true signal of demand? No. It was a distortion. When CPI data showed massive inflation, but policymakers called it transitory, they were ignoring the signal. Now we see items on sale. This isn't a sign of a healthy, functioning market. It is a sign of a demand destruction crisis. It's a sign that after 2 years of brutal inflation, the consumer is finally broken. Their wages haven't kept up, their credit cards are maxed out, and they have no purchasing power left. The economy isn't about choosing between 3 things you want. It's about a global system forcing you to choose between things you need. Understanding these forces, scarcity, production, and the trade-offs is the only way to see the crisis that is already here. Thank you for watching. Be sure to subscribe because understanding these systems is no longer academic.
Out, and they have no
essential.
purchasing power left.